Hello, everybody. Jesse Bobrowski from Calvert Home Mortgage. Today, I get the pleasure to speak with and learn from Kim Freeman. One of our core tenants at Calvert is education, and that's a big reason why I love working with Kim. I love Kim's outlook. I love what she does for the broker industry, and I'm really excited to be able to share with our network what she does. So Kim is the owner operator of KMF Enterprises. Kim Freeman, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself and KMF Enterprises?
What an amazing introduction. Thank you so much. And I didn't even pay you to do that. Thank you so much for having me today, Jesse. It is an absolute pleasure. I am Kimberlee Freeman. I have been in the mortgage industry for longer than I care to admit, 25 years now. And I founded KMF Enterprises during COVID 2 years ago, April 7th of 2023. So 2 years prior to that. And I have a real passion for education. This is strictly an interview for KMF. So of course the opinions would not be of any other associations, but I do love to share the importance of associations. I did serve on the provincial board for CMBA, Canadian Mortgage Brokers Association, for 4 years, completed, and 2 years on the national, and I'm involved and chair the National Education Committee. So education's ongoing. It's crucial for anyone in our industry, no matter what role you play. And KMF Enterprises is a national coaching, consulting, training company with many different faces, actually. And one of them being that I've been recruited to train lender BDMs of all sorts across Canada. I've been approached by lenders directly for consulting as they emerge into the Ontario market space. There's been sole focus training on focused topics such as, the private world, lead generation, one of my favorite keynote presentations, as well as coaching the one-on-ones. And the one-on-ones are really interesting as everyone in this industry are at different levels of their career. So someone entering the industry is very brand new in terms of they've taken the written exam, they're book smart, they might be really book smart, they did great, but now come the street smarts. You have to apply it and you have to learn how to drive that car. So it's the real streets view of what the mortgage agent career looks like. And then there's the other end. You've been in it and now you're doing so well. I want to start my own team. I want to start my own brokerage. And that experience and one-on-one training with the principal broker is much different and much more involved, which we can get into later on. But that's pretty much where I am at this point in my career. And I absolutely am doing what I love, and I'm very lucky.
That's awesome, Kim. Now, I know you're fortunate to work with a lot of great clients. And as any client, some have greater success in terms of how they take your knowledge and how they run with it. What would a typical client look like where you see a lot of success, where you're able to really help?
The clients, in terms of personality, do you mean? With personality, I find the ones that are actually going to execute. Where I think that life or even success stems from, where it begins? It's outside of your comfort zone. That's where it begins. So those that are not, then there's a certain personality to this role as well. You cannot be an introvert. That's going to be a challenge against you. You cannot be afraid of following up or being afraid of rejection. Okay, there's a certain personality that comes with the role and a mental battle there, which is where the lack of confidence may come in for newer agents. But the ones that are successful are the ones where I can only take them so far with my coaching and training, where I hand the baton off to them and say, now it's the home stretch run for you. Take off with this relationship with your referral partner. You have to do it. That's yours. And if they end that meeting and they say, okay, well, thanks a lot. Call me if you need me. It dies and fizzles away. And unfortunately, people out there, they have to realize, is it fair that you have to put more work into a relationship at first? No, suck it up. It is what it is. If you want to be successful, those are the steps that you have to do. And that's the pivotal moment of doers. So you see a lot of people out there on teams, and the brokerage house has part-timers, full-timers, but they have all these people, but they don't really know any single one of them really well. Personalities. If you ever looked at the DISC studies, which I know you have heavily in your company, but do they know these agents really well in terms of the knowledge? Are they mentoring them to the point where they have given them that test? Can you drive that car? And that is what I see as the difference. And that's the part of my training, is to get to that point so you can really see who your key players are. Instead of having a team of 20 maybes, you have a powerhouse team of 10 and they're going to fund millions of dollars more than your part-timer team of 20.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, as you mentioned earlier, Kim, you've been doing this for a long time. You have a lot of great experience, awesome knowledge. We've seen a really interesting market, particularly in Ontario, the last year. Things have changed significantly, drastically. How has this market been for your business?
Fantastic. And I hate to say that, it sounds so mean, but listen, when things are good, things are great. For example, 2020 was a very easy year for realtors. It was effortless for them. It's when things, and you can only control what you can control. You can't control government rule changes or the landscape in that sense, or how fast they build the houses. We can't control those things. So there's no point in wasting time and energy being upset about that. How are we going to navigate and become a chameleon to our space? Where this has happened is the rates are not high. And I've never, ever trained to focus on rates and fees. So the people that have had it very sweet with low interest rates, which we knew they only had one direction, was up, okay? That never dived out into the full circle and life cycle of a client. Going from A, had a divorce, lost their job, now becomes a B client, government rule changes. Oh my gosh, they don't declare enough and they become a private deal. I find that there's a large population out there that don't understand the B and private world. I'm not saying that I specialize in that more so, but it is the full life cycle of the mortgage world, that if you're going to be a broker or an agent, you're not a one-hit wonder for ARMs. You're a full body trainer, as I've said before. You have to know it all. And the ones that do not know that side of things have really struggled. And right now there's so much business and opportunities out there if you know your lenders, build those relationships, and can also sell. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to know every bit of the product. You don't have to know everything, but you have to be able to speak, have confidence, know enough niches, and then execute.
Nice. Yeah, it's certainly, like you said, it's during those time of turmoil where things don't come easy. That's when we finally start trying to think of new ways to do things. I think they say, what is it? Necessity is the mother of invention. So it's good that people are trying new things. And it's good that they're reaching out to somebody who's been doing it for so long and who can make an impact on their business. Speaking of you making an impact on the business, in today's marketplace, we see so many people who are coming out as coaches, as mentors. And I know that's what you do. What makes you different?
So kudos to the people that out there that have coaches. And I know some of the best in the industry have had different coaches every year. They never end, because what happens is they become complacent with their business and they don't think outside the box or have a new idea from someone. So it's really great and always expanding before you get into that cycle. How I am different is most people, you sit in a classroom teaching, e-learning. I believe there's a very special group of people that will take all of that. We call them the book smart people, but there's a lack of applying it to life. Okay. I don't believe you're ever going to learn this industry in a classroom. And while it's needed, and I don't deter from the need to have a classroom and education in that form, some people are not comprehensive learners. Some people are so nervous that they don't even, that once they get into the situation with a referral partner, let's say, they're so nervous about messing it up that they just crumble. So the way that I'm different is I'm not going to sit back, have you read a book or sit on a Zoom and do the classroom. There's a piece of that. I'm going to become heavily involved in your business with the right coaching, not as your mentor, as your colleague, as your friend, with always great ideas to share and pump up business for your referral partners, business for yourself. And at the end of that meeting, you get the baton and you take off with that relationship. Yes, you are scripted on how to obtain a joint Zoom meeting with myself and the referral partner, because that is odd, perhaps you think, but scripted properly. Everyone has been very, very excited when someone out of the blue offers a lot of ideas on how to help them grow their business. And that's how you're different. We're not asking for handouts. I'm not asking you for a client. I'm showing you how to fish and create clients. And that's how I'm different. So therefore, it fast tracks those agents who might be nervous, who may not have that savvy of knowledge yet, who may not be up to date with their lenders. They're going as fast as they can, but they just don't have that many years experience, or they've never even dived into it. Say you got the principal broker or the veteran. It just gives them that psychology of sales conversation so they can see, hear, feel it. We can role play it later, but they gain that referral partners in and then they execute with them. And that's how I'm different.
Love it, Kim. I love the different approach. I think one thing I'll mention that I think you're underselling is also your experience. You've been there. You've done that. You've sat in different positions from the lender standpoint, from the broker standpoint. And I think that absolutely, as somebody that's worked with you, benefits your clients as well. And along those lines, I'm fortunate to get to work with a lot of great mortgage brokers and a lot of great broker owners. And some of the best broker owners are those that are in the business of, they're hitting big numbers. And by doing, they can more easily relate to the broker. And I think you do an amazing job at relating to the broker. So that's an additional tidbit that I'll add to our listeners here.
Thank you, Jesse.
Speaking of tidbits, I don't want you to give away all your secrets, but why don't you give us some kind of top tips for new brokers, Kim?
Brokers in general, let's say, okay? For new brokers, of course, there's I have probably half of my clients are newer and half of them are veterans. It's a really interesting mix, and we can talk about the veterans in a moment, but you have three things that you're doing as a new agent to this industry or newer agent. You have to build a CRM because you may not have any clients that you've done mortgages for. You are either learning your lenders, that is consistent. New or veteran, you're always learning your lenders and keeping up to date on their products. You are building a referral book. You do not want to sit on a rainy day and say, okay, I think I have a joint Zoom with Kim and I got to Google someone's name. You have to have that list ready to go. Identify seasonality in the year. Third and foremost, you are taking an application, hopefully, and closing a deal. Stay organized. So those are your lifelines. If you're not doing one of those three things every single week together, okay, it's not what comes first. It's chicken and the egg. No, it's simultaneously, and it's never ending. So then what will happen is these agents, they'll get busy. They'll finally see some deals come in and referrals, and then they'll be only focused on the new business, filling their pipe and working on those deals that they forgot to keep learning and keep their pipe full of referral partners. And that gets broken. So staying organized, absolutely. Learning the lenders. But I tell them, listen, I have some pet peeves. I don't like chasing, especially when you sign up for university. Are your professors chasing you? Like, this is your career. This is your lining of the pockets. This is your family. This is your livelihood. I hate chasing. Own your business, own your results, and stay organized. There's so many people that people can lean on, not just me. I'm not the be all end all here. They have their broker house. Follow your broker policy procedures. You might have some support there. Reach out to them. But if you think you're going to sit down and have everything spoon fed to you, okay, you have to be proactive. Years ago, we didn't have sheets of BDMs and lenders handed to us and product dumps. You had to actually go out and search and source and learn and find the right tech. And there's some, I don't want to say this, be lazy. I'm not going to say it. People are lazy. Okay. There's some laziness out there that drives me crazy, that we're not going to spoon feed you, but we're going to give you all the tools of success. Okay. So my advice is take accountability, hustle like there's no tomorrow, use all of your tools and people around you, and own your business. Okay. I don't specifically spoon feed people on lender products. I advise them and introduce them. I even tell them what kind of questions to ask so that they're not embarrassed in front of the BDM. Here are the questions you ask: the A's, B's, privates. Fill it out like a spreadsheet and update it. So there's no reason why they might ask when in their mind there's no stupid question, right? A stupid question. But do that. You have to build relationships with your lenders. There's a reason why I'm not doing that for you, is because that's crucial to your success and future. Those are a big tip I give. And stay organized. Don't let work from yesterday become Friday's work, right?
So what you mean to tell me, Kim, is there's no magic bullet. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the time. And you got to stay on top of your business.
A great man once said to his team, and he's got this framed in his office behind him, he pulls it out: are you willing to put in the work? It's as simple as that when you own your business. I put in my work. I'm putting in my work and then some still. But are you willing to put in the work and own your results?
That's brilliant. So basically, for those that are willing to put in the work, you are there to give them process, context, ideas, to grow relationships and in turn their business.
Yeah. So I had a really wonderful, it pumps me up. Okay. as a coach, as a trainer, when I see someone who I think is going to be amazing, that has the, like you feed off people's energy. I feed off their energy. They're excited. They're really excited about their new career. They're putting in the work. They're getting results. They're just following my advice without questioning, without complaining. You know, inside voice, well, I don't really want to. I'm just, okay, she says to do this. I'm going to do this. She says to do that. Okay, I'm going to do that. And you know what? I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it without complaining. And then all of a sudden, 2 months later, it's working. And someone I trained from June 29th of 2022, I just recently attended their award ceremony and they won silver within their brokerage. And
Amazing.
just followed the advice without complaining about putting the time in.
Amazing. Amazing. So next, I guess we've kind of talked about it, but more explicitly, what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing for new brokers? And I see, like, especially for those brokers that joined in the last year, where we had this huge drop off in volume, that even for veteran brokers has impacted business. What are you seeing there for challenges, Kim?
So again, it falls into, it's just the B private world right now, unfortunately. A lot of people may not want to break their first mortgages and refinance to a higher interest rate. So those would stay in place. So naturally, you'd see more seconds. So the agents that are coming in at the downturn have to understand market corrections right off the hop, which is a very deep topic. And then they have to understand B and privates, but then all of a sudden, you're not allowed to do B or privates. You have to get this license. So regardless of the license, I say you need a broker house that fits your needs and your personality style to your leader. Okay. We often stay with our people, not because of the company, because of the people, right? The leader that's there. So vice versa, the broker house, because there's so many wonderful models, has to have the open transparency of whoever they're bringing on. And I say to these agents, you know, you came at a tough time, but when is it ever when is it ever easy? Okay. Hard now, easy later, no matter what it is. So suck it up, let's go. And here's what you need to know. But you really want to continue the education on products, building that relationship, let them and teach them and oversee them on AB and private so that they can bring in the deals still to the house through whatever channels that your brokerage is requesting, okay, per the legal FSRA requirements in the future. But don't deter them from how great this career can be with success. They have enough challenges with just getting leads, getting up to date on lender products and this landscape. Now you've taken away a big chunk. Do you think that they can be picky and pick whatever falls in their lap in terms of leads? They're just happy to get a lead when they get a lead. Now I can only have certain kinds of leads. So this is going to be their mindset, is like another hit in the face, you know, another challenge on an already difficult market to get deals going. And I say, you know what? We're going to teach you. We'll give you all the advice on how to take a hold of, you know, say the flippers or income tax arrears, all the things that are seasonal that you don't want to leave on the table. All right. And you've got to just buckle down and take the advice of myself and your peers on how to tackle this hurdle, because it will get better again, right? It will change again. It's going to be always changing.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for that, Kim. You talked briefly about the dynamic of, you know, you work so hard, you create leads, you start to get a bit of traction, and then you focus so much on that lead that you might forget to continue to build that pipeline. And to me, that's a lot to do with optimizing a process. You know, you mentioned now all these tools out there that we never had before. Like even like 10 years ago, I feel like who was really using a CRM back then? Now you're inundated with CRMs and optionality. Can you give us a couple quick tips, Kim, for optimizing process as a broker?
Okay. So I'm not going to recommend any single platform because there are so many out there. I'm going to leave it up to the person to decide, because I just said this is in general what you need to have, but don't tell me that I have to use Apple versus whatever. You know what I mean? Like, use whatever you're used to and comfortable with. I'm a big Excel spreadsheet girl. Could be because of my age, right? But one thing that you must have is a very good CRM that holds your client base. And I don't mean referral partners. I mean your actual clients that you funded mortgages for, with filters. So the filters could be male, female, location, maturity dates, of course, employment style, divorce, all the different filter features. You'd have a different CRM for your referral partners, because that's a different mailer and different sorting objective. Okay. Obviously, you want some great marketing support. I can't draw a straight line to save my life, but I have the idea of what that straight line should look like. So I'm hiring someone who can do a straight line. If you have a marketing team within your brokerage, that's great. If not, you're going to have to maybe contract someone out for your marketing and website and all the social media. So thirdly, social media platforms. I've heard people, and this is what I don't understand. I don't like social media. Well, I don't care if you don't like it. How are you standing out in a crowded market space of 13,500 people and staying top of mind? You see the stuff I see out there, there's commercials, there's trailers, there's all sorts of stuff. Just seeing the person or seeing the name is enough to remember Jesse's there, right? So Facebook has a little bit of the personal and business side. You get to learn a lot about someone. The first thing that anyone does is Google you, right? So
Totally.
Facebook, you'll learn some personal. Instagram, it's a much different, faster environment. I like Instagram. LinkedIn is a gigantic Rolodex. So once you're finished with your close world of warm leads of family and friends and exhausted your aunts, your uncles, your best friends, then all of a sudden you need new blood. And where are you going to meet them? Clients or referral partners or anything. LinkedIn, Google, and each person spawns to their whole world. Okay. So if you don't have a very good professional LinkedIn, first thing I do when I meet someone is I Google them on LinkedIn to see if they're legit. And I Google the name, make sure they're not a criminal. So there's social media presence. And of course, brokerage houses, some of them have great platforms just to make their job efficient. So pulling, the income tax T1s, whatever the documentation may be for files, organizing files so it's easy for packaging. These are all the things that are day-to-day in the life of, and then organizing yourself. I know I did a training session with someone who doesn't use an Excel spreadsheet very often. Like everything was handwritten. And I said, you can't have handwritten data on how many deals did you do in January 2022, how many closed, how many canceled, where they come from, what are the reasons they canceled, and it's all on a napkin. Now that doesn't work, but you can't have that. And there are trends there, efficiencies and things that you can notice. So you must stay organized on that front, but use whatever you are familiar with, right? There's so many different wonderful things. And that's what I would say on that.
Awesome, Kim. Awesome.
Napkins everywhere.
They're so simple, like, it's almost more work to write it today on the back of a napkin than it is to jump on a CRM that costs you literally $5 a month and use that tool. These things can automate communications. They can test what communications are working. Like, it's incredible how much these tools can be a benefit to a mortgage associate or a mortgage broker professional.
Well, even one was struggling with tasks. Okay, so tasks that I have to do in order, I said, write them down on a spreadsheet or whatever, and put the importance, like your due dates, your task due dates.
Right.
Well, this one I have to do next week. Well, then create it as a repeated task and then identify. So it's just even to that level. And I know that sounds really simple, but for someone coming in who is not the personality to be organized, some people can't work from home, some people need to go to the office. If you don't have that, then that's another hurdle, becoming self-employed. And also see a good accountant if you were not self-employed before.
Right. Well, that's good to know. Like, I'm sure. So it sounds like, from your approaches, you're more than happy to start with the very basics and walk them through that process and make something that I could only imagine and empathize with people that are new to this, how daunting it may be. And it sounds like you're doing an awesome job simplifying it and guiding them through the process, as long as they're willing to put in the work.
And you know what's nice on the other end of it, when you have a principal broker, when you're at that level, so many agents succeed and they hit, over 40 million a year. And then they're like, I'm going to start my own team. And then they go through this process of like, okay, well, now my CRM is going wayward. I don't have time for that. I need to hire an underwriter for all the new business. If I'm going to focus on my CRM, I want to hire agents, but now I have to train my agents and I don't have time to train my agents. Plus I got to do compliance or source that out. And they think that it's going to be extra money and the bigger picture is going to be win the award, when really it ends up they make less money in certain situations.
And more
so
stress.
When you have these, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the principal broker owners, let's say, and this is interesting. So a lot of the really big veterans, I'm like, you want to bring in business, but you're sitting on a gold mine of 2,000 people in your client base. When is the last time you tackled that? I would go there first, right?
No
and then
kidding.
they have agents to train. Well, I think part-time agents are 9 times out of 10, they don't have time for the business, so they're never going to fast track as quickly as even if you find a gem, they're not going to do it because they just simply don't have the time. But
Right.
if we go through the process, let's say interviewing every single agent, green means go, they're going to do well. Yellow is they look good on paper, and red is why the hell did you even hire them in the first place? And then you can take that piece off the principal broker and train them. That's a huge win. And then you cut down, as I said, the dead weight, and you find your powerhouses. And then if you're doing, 40 million a year as a powerhouse and you have a smaller team versus 20 million and you got the mass, it really cleans up the house. You get to know who your agents are. And that's crucial because I think the principal brokers are overwhelmed.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think you're bang on. And, it's unfortunate so many times you see these people who are amazing salespeople. And those amazing salespeople are hitting amazing numbers because they're so focused on the selling. And then they decide for whatever reason to diverge from that path to be a broker owner, helping them think through to what benefit. Like a lot of times it's great just to crush the number, knock it out of the park
Absolutely.
on the scoreboard,
Yep.
and be that individual all-star. Anyhow, it was a really interesting story there where you were talking about how sometimes, maybe foolishly, amazing producers decide to start a brokerage.
Yeah.
Kim, we're coming towards the end of our interview in time. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Is there anything I've missed? Certainly, let's share your contact information, but any last tidbits, piece of advice that you want to provide?
I think that you have to decide what they want to be in this industry. Who do you want to be? What's your brand? Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? So what is your real brand? Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be known as? Are you out there? Do you know all the subscription of all the major newsletters that you should be subscribed to stay up to date on industry news? Or are you learning your news from Facebook? Because if you're learning your news from social media, there's something wrong there. You should be learning it directly from the regulators and other partners. Or how many trade shows are you attending? What are you learning this week? Are you being accountable for your actions and owning them or blaming someone else? This training program, I'm going to tell you, is not for everyone. Okay. But it is, if you put in the work, and I give you the real landscape. Okay. So decide what your goals are, decide who you want to be, decide your level of success, have a conversation with me if you'd like to learn more, but utilize everyone around you and don't be lazy. Don't be chased. Don't be lazy. I'm really, really being down to earth here. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm just telling you some basic real knowledge, and step outside your comfort zone because that's where life and success begins.
Amazing stuff, Kim. Thanks so much. How do people get a hold of you?
Courier pigeon. Send me a note, handwritten letter by courier. No, just kidding. 905-380-3231 is the BlackBerry. Yes, I have a BlackBerry. Everyone can make fun of me behind the scenes there, start laughing. I also have a Samsung phone as well, which I'll keep private right now. But yes, I have 2 phones and I'm not a drug dealer. My email, I will give you my email, is KMF, Kimberlee Marine Freeman, KMF Enterprises 79@gmail.com.
Thanks so much, Kim. We'll also be sure to share your information on the medium in which we send this out. Again, thanks so much for your time. I
Thank you,
hope
Jesse.
some new brokers, some current brokers, and some growing brokers have taken a little bit of advice from this session and reach out to help grow their businesses.
Thank you, Jesse. We will be speaking soon. And anyone on this, watching this right now, if you have not ever heard of who Jesse is in Calvert, you need to contact them right away. I can help you with connecting you, but they have a great niche product in Ontario right now and Calgary.